love bugs. It's Dr. Ashley Greer. I am coming to you today to talk to you about the fact that your life is way too freaking short to spend it just being miserable and suffering and figuring that you can put up with this terrible fluorescent light reality of your jobby job for freaking, another 20, 30 years until you can finally retire and enjoy your life? No, I want to show you that there's a totally different way to go about this. And so I put together this free workshop called the Entrepreneurial Jumpstart to help everyone start a business, because I am passionate, crazy passionate about making sure that everybody feels free to pursue the life that they truly desire. And to me, the first thing you need to do to pursue the life you really desire is to get free in terms of your work, so that you can do things like work from home if you want to, and you're not stuck in an office or in a certain area or in a certain town, and you can go wherever you want and do whatever you want whenever you want. Like, for example, I run my own business, and I've just gotten home from a 3-hour, errand run. Not that errands are fun, but I tell you what, errands are a lot more fun on Tuesday than they are on Saturday, when most people have to run them because they're working their day-to-day jobby job. I can go for a swim right now if I want to, because then I can work in the evenings if I desire, or over the weekend if I want, or I can make my business work for me and not have to work so hard. We've been brought up in a culture that has sold us the paradigm that we all need to work for a company. Our parents did this. They worked for a company and worked really, really hard, and, until they can retire. And so often they would work for the same company for their whole lives, and they'd end up then retiring and finally getting to go to Hawaii, where I am right now, or go wherever they wanted to go that was beautiful and, inspiring and amazing, instead of just living their lives inspiring and amazing and beautiful now. And this is the thing, when we are feeling as though we are a prisoner to our employer, when we are a slave to our employer, we're not really free to make the choices to prioritize our life in the way that we truly want to. Whether that's about our schedule, whether that's about making more money, whether that's about travel, whether that's about moving somewhere else, whether that's about spending more time with your kids, it doesn't matter. What it's about is freedom to do whatever the heck you want to do. What's even better, though, is that when you start your own business, you can actually work at stuff you love to do, instead of doing stuff that you cannot stand because, it's the only company that would hire me. There are so many ways that you can start making money right away. And I'm not talking about MLM stuff. I don't do any of that stuff. I'm a coach. I help people feel empowered to live the life that they really desire. I help people set up their businesses, stuff like that. I don't do MLM stuff. MLM is multi-level marketing, in case you're not familiar with that term. I don't have any problem with it, but this isn't what this is about. This isn't about some get-rich scheme. I'm going to be talking about ways that you can bridge your current job with starting your own company, because I don't necessarily believe that you should just go out there and believe you're going to get rich quick and suddenly, quit your job and throw all your eggs in the basket of starting your own business. I don't think that's wise, because then you're coming from a place of desperation and a place of I got to make this work, and freaking out, and that's not smart. So I'm actually going to teach you about how to bridge that gap and tell you about my own journey, how I bridged the gap from being a psychologist, quit that job altogether, and then I actually did a bunch of different things before I started my own business. How long did I do? I guess it was only about 9 months that I did work before I started my own business, but it was probably about 1.5 years that I worked for other people and was doing my own business. However, I was still locationally free and could work from anywhere in the world and could do whatever the heck I wanted to, and could pursue the opportunities that lit me up instead of the opportunities that made me feel like I was a slave, or I had to work under fluorescent lights. I mean, look at where I'm working right now. You can see the palm tree. Wait, right there. Sorry, you can see it in reflection, because if I actually point you out it's too bright. You can't see it. So I show it to you in my window, in my bedroom window. I am here in Hawaii, and I am enjoying my life because I chose to leave my job. And I don't think that's something that a lot of people talk about. I actually left my job where I was highly successful. I was a psychologist. I was really good at what I do, really good at what I did. but I was unhappy. That's the reason I left, was because I was unhappy. But I realize now that, like, even the income as a psychologist was ridiculous. I think I was making $55,000 a year with a PhD. It was absolutely obscene. And now I have the ability for unlimited income, for unlimited freedom, to travel the world, to do whatever I want with my time, when I want to do it with my time. And it's all because I started my own business. And I used to be terrified to start my own business. I used to think it was too hard. I wasn't business smart. There's too many, moving pieces for me to track. I don't want to have to be that responsible for all that stuff. And good Lord, once I got over myself and just took the leap, best leap I ever took in my whole freaking life. Because once you take the leap, you realize it's not that hard. It's sort of like, when you're a kid and you're riding a bike, you're like, I don't understand how I'm supposed to, like, balance it and do the pedals and do the steering and everything. Or when you're learning to drive a car, it's like, how do you keep track of where the pedestrians are, where all the other cars are, where the road is, and oh my God. And then eventually it's like second nature, and it's really not a big deal. This is how easy business is to me now. It's really not a big deal. And I'm like, oh my God, it's so easy to start your own business. And this is why I decided to put this workshop together. Well, to be honest with you, I actually decided to put this workshop together because I had a dream telling me to do it. I was in a room where everybody got fired. It was like everybody got laid off of their job, and everybody was like, oh, how are we going to support our kids? And so I was like, I can solve this. And I grabbed a piece of chalk and I wrote on the board, I wrote Entrepreneurship 101 on the chalkboard. And I decided I was going to teach everybody how to become an entrepreneur so that they no longer had to be a slave to, whether their employer could afford to hire them again next year, because they could always find new opportunities when they were no longer, I keep saying enslaved, but that's really how it felt, like enslaved to that workaday culture. When you don't feel free to do the things you want, you do feel like you don't have the prerogative to do things that you really want to do. And I know that's repetitive, but I was thinking about a story earlier today, and this is a pretty serious story, so bear with me. But when I was in high school, I had a pretty dysfunctional family, and there were times when I just wanted to get the hell out. I wanted to get out of that house. I wanted to go out on my own. But I was like, I don't know how I can possibly do that because I don't have any money. I don't know. I would starve to death, I guess. I would, be submitted to the elements. I would freeze to death because I was in the Midwest. I wouldn't be able to survive. And so I felt like I was a prisoner in my own home because I couldn't go out there and survive. And I was really depressed because I felt like such a prisoner. And this is really, I was reflecting today about, just running errands, how happy I was just with the wind blowing through my hair and my windows open, and thinking about this workshop I'm doing. And I was like, without freedom, without the ability to choose what I want to do and how I want to do it, I never would have been able to feel free to do things like move to Hawaii, to travel the world, all of the things that are on my docket. And I think back to that girl when she was in high school, when she just felt desperately depressed. And I think, I really felt that way when I was even a psychologist, when I was working within the system that I didn't agree with. And I was constantly feeling as though I was working for a bureaucracy that was broken, whether it was when I worked for a big 12 university or I worked for a psychiatric prison. It was all bureaucracy that was broken, and I couldn't stand it. And I hated having to do things I didn't agree with. And, it felt like ramming my head against the wall. And this is the reason I'm doing this workshop, is because I know a lot of you feel that way too. You feel like you're ramming your head against the wall, and like it's just not fair that you have to keep doing this, and there has to be a better way. Guess what? There is. And I'm going to tell you all about it during this workshop on Thursday at 11 o'clock Hawaii time. That is 4 p.m. Central. So go to the link, sign up. The workshop's going to be free. I'm going to cover so much that, you're going to probably have your head spinning a little bit, but that's good because I'm also going to give you the replay, unlimited access to the replay, so that you can take it and watch it slow and slow it down and pause it or whatever you need to do, so that you can actually go slow enough to understand what it is you need to do to start your own business. Because I want everyone to be able to do this, even if it's just picking up a little extra money on the side or whatever you want to do, or trying to, be home with your kids, and you can't do that when you have to go to a part-time job, you know, in retail or whatever it is. You can do so much from home these days, and it's not like the gimmicky stuff that it was, you know, even 15 years ago. The dawn of the internet has absolutely revolutionized the working world. It's created a whole new paradigm for the way that we work and the way that we exist and the freedom we have to do exactly what we want in this world. And so this is why I'm creating this workshop, and I can't wait for you to join me. It's going to be bodacious. As you know, that's my word. It's going to be bodacious. It's going to be awesome. And obviously it's going to be super entertaining because I'm doing it and I'm funny. But seriously, I can't do stuff and it be boring. I guess I could. Hi, I am boring. Even that's not boring. Anyway, I love you. I love your face. I can't wait to see you on Thursday. Go sign up now. Don't miss it. You'll get the replay. You'll get unlimited access to it. I'm not going to put a timer on it because I want you to have this info and be able to review it again and again and again. All right. Talk to you soon. See you soon. Oh, there, you can see the top of the palm tree there, kind of. Talk soon. Bye.